Gunmen kill 5 Egyptian police officers south of Cairo. Ugandan police boss bans presidential age limit debate outside parliament. And Gambia begins searching for the country's wealth allegedly looted by former President Yahya Jammeh. And welcome to the program. I am Bisi Adebayo. We begin today in North Africa, where gunmen have ambushed an Egyptian security checkpoint, killing 5 policemen in an area just south of the capital. The attack happened in Al-Barashin area of Giza province, 30 kilometers south of Cairo. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but Egyptian security forces have been battling the local affiliate of Islamic State in the northern Sinai area, and attacks have extended to other parts of Egypt. In East Africa, suspected Islamic militants have attempted to kidnap a senior Kenyan government official and 5 others after attacking the vehicle they were traveling in. Thankfully, Miriam El-Mawi from the Kenya's Ministry of Public Works and 3 of the party were rescued by the military personnel, but the driver and another person were killed during the operation. Military spokesman Joseph Owoth says the attack by suspected Somali Al-Shabaab militants occurred in the coastal district of Lamu. The vehicle reportedly rolled and burst into flames during the attack, and El-Mawi has been taken to a hospital for medical attention. Al-Shabaab is fighting to overthrow Somalia's Western-backed government and establish its own rule based on the group's strict interpretation of Sharia law. The Islamists frequently launch attacks on Kenyan soil, which they say are intended to force the country to withdraw its troops from Somalia. And staying in Kenya, latest poll data shows the country's presidential race may go into an unprecedented second round. But the poll, in which IPSOS says adheres to international standards of fairness and accuracy, has caused a storm of anger and threats against the company on social media. Analysts say a close race is more likely to lead to a dispute and possibly violence, as the long side claims it was robbed.
The work of political posters is still widely misunderstood in Kenya, with international companies like IPSOS, a research service organization accused of everything from corruption to witchcraft. Their latest poll, showing the presidential race may go to a second round, sparked angry denunciation and threats on social media.
It's just an omnibus that we do, and like a barometer check for the socio-economic, political, whatever in the country. But that is something that they don't want to believe. They believe that there must be a piper, or there must be somebody paying the piper, and that's calling the tune. And that's why we're publishing those results. Kenyan
elections are traditionally tight, but there has never been a runoff. But the latest IPSOS survey of 2,026 Kenyans released last month showed 48% supported incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta seeking a second and final 5-year term, 42% supported veteran opposition leader Raila Odinga, 2% refused to say, and 8% were undecided. To win the election, a politician needs 1 vote more than 50% of the national total, with at least a quarter of the vote in 24 of the 47 counties.
Opinion polls, it depends. I think they are not so credible as such, because in this country, most likely might find whoever has money can influence the opinion polls. So guys can buy people. Kenya is generally a corrupt country. You find, I can sway people's ideas if I have money.
Even globally, voters' faith in pollsters have slipped after polls failed to predict a majority of the people in Britain would vote to leave the European Union, or that Donald Trump would win the presidential election in the United States. In Kenya, researchers are faced with many problems beyond lack of faith. For its quarterly survey, IPSOS sends pollsters to 200 locations around the country, randomly chosen to reflect population density. They have been arrested, accused of making children fall ill, robbed, and swept away by flash floods.
Sometimes our interviewers have been caught in between bandit attacks. In other instances, like in West Pokot, we've had to airlift interviewers to take them out of such situations.
Kenya's last 2 elections have been marred by irregularities, and the opposition has alleged rigging in both elections. In 2007, protests sparked widespread ethnic violence that killed around 1,200 people.
And still talking politics, Uganda's Inspector General of Police, Kale Kaihura, says that he'll not allow politicians to take the debate over whether the age limit of presidents should be raised to universities and villages. General Kaihura claims he has intelligence reports that some opposition leaders have been inciting youth, especially students at university, to cause confusion about the age limit bill. But the IG says, quote, "Age limit debate is strictly in Parliament, but not in schools or villages. It's supposed to be debated in Parliament and should be among MPs. Under the current constitution, a person over the age of 75 is not eligible to stand for president. If the age limit is not amended, President Yoweri Museveni, who turns 73 this year, will not be able to stand for re-election at the next polls in 2021.